Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I know that everyone's very busy, but we have a great conference lined up for everyone. This is the 5th annual Water Data Summit and Water Solutions 5. It's a joint event from the California Data Collaborative, Molten Lake Water District, and Sustain SoCal. We're really excited to bring this event, and it's unlike any other previous events as we've moved to a virtual format. Just as a bit of housekeeping, just as a reference, the entire day will be recorded. So if, given everything that's going on today between the existing public health emergency to fires and power outages throughout the state, don't panic. Well, if you lose Wi-Fi connection or have any connectivity issues, just be aware that we'll have everything recorded and we'll make sure to make that available to all of the registrations. Additionally, we have made a Slack channel available to connect with people throughout the day. So please check that out. The hosts will be posting that link to that throughout the day. So reach out to them if you have any questions or need any of that. Additionally, just putting together an event like this takes a village, takes a great team of people, and from all the organizers, I really want to thank all of the sponsors who stepped up and helped to make this event happen. From our platinum sponsors, my agency, Molten Lake and Metropolitan Water District, to the gold sponsors, Synergy, Aquametric, Biolago, and Braccio. Silver sponsors, Best Best Krieger and Flume, and the bronze sponsors, RDN, Mazarine Ventures, Geosyntec, and PFM. As we look out over the last 6 months, the world's completely changed, and some people might be asking, why data, why innovation, why do we need to do all of this today, given everything else that's going on in the world? And the challenge that I would make is that it's never been more important to invest in technology and innovation with everything that is going on today. In the last 6 months, we've seen over nearly 60 million people file first-time claims for unemployment. We've seen over 5 million people with COVID, and kind of just a global health emergency that's transformed everything that we would have expected in terms of emergency planning in the water community to a completely unprecedented kind of emergency that we've been having to shift gears and adapt to. Technology and at least from my agency at Molten Lake, we've seen a huge amount of benefits from investing in that, and it's helped better serve our customers. In the past, it was nice to provide information to people digitally and take payments digitally and be able to access information over the cloud. And today we see that it can actually save lives, because you don't have to have in-person contact. As much as we'd all love to be in person, it provides the ability to access all of that remotely, which is a huge benefit today. Water industry has done a tremendous job over the past century in California to help the state be what it is today, with over 40 million people, and investing in massive aqueducts to bring us water today. That has never been more critical than the public health emergency that we face. But as we look to the future, data, technology, these are all key to help adapt to a changing world and build a new infrastructure of data to help drive our decisions and build resiliency as we serve the public. Just 5 years ago, the California Data Collaborative launched and had a core mission of helping water utilities put data to use to build a network of analytical talent to help move forward water innovation. And we started this data summits 5 years ago in a classroom in Stanford, and had just under 100 people, and we have well over 300 people registered today. So it's really exciting to see all of the interest in this event. And I really want to thank the entire Data Collaborative team, Chris, the project manager, David, and Abe, and our army of interns. And it's never just one person. It's been a great collaboration, and also thank all of the members who've helped to provide in-kind services and contribute. And as a small nonprofit, the Data Collaborative, we often rely on those kinds of in-kind services to make events like this happen. And I really want to thank both my agency, our general manager, and our board of directors who help to support these types of efforts, because it does help benefit our customers and it helps provide value add in what we do in public service. Sustain SoCal has been an amazing partner to help bring this event over the past 6 months, with a lot of pivoting with everything else going on. So they've been very helpful in adapting to this changing world and help to provide support in organizing our first virtual event. So really happy to thank all of them in bringing this all together. And unfortunately, we're not able to be in person, and so we don't have all the great in-person networking opportunities that we would in our normal course of activities. So we have the Slack channel set up. You're welcome to use that. You can reach out to people through Slack. It's a great platform to text message people through it and coordinate through the channels. We have a help desk in that if you have any issues. If you have any questions, if you've gotten emails from Alan, you can respond to that, and we'll have our team of support help you throughout the day. And besides all of the great sessions that we have today, I encourage you to stay around for our happy hour event, where you'll get the great opportunity to watch Chris make a cocktail and teach you all a little bit. And if hopefully you all got that, but we'll make sure to resend and provide all the details for that. So just some other logistics in terms of a Zoom platform. You'll notice that as the PowerPoint slides are showing, you have a little video up in probably the upper right corner. You can move that around as you want. Sometimes it might be more helpful to put it in a different place on the PowerPoint, and just you can move that around. Additionally, if you have a burning question throughout the day, just type it in, and we'll get to it when we can. If we can't, we have all of your information, and we'll make sure to get that to the speakers, and we'll do our best to follow up with everyone that we can. Additionally, you'll see some polls throughout the day. All of them are anonymous. We really just want to capture. So we have amazing pool of very talented people in the audience today, and so it's great to get all of your feedback and just get some of that capture the moment and get some more engagement. So feel free to submit, and know that we're not selling any of your data. We want to make sure that that's all protected, and so it's all anonymous as we go through the day. So with that, I wanted to turn it over. We had Assembly Member Garcia, Eduardo Garcia, provide some great welcome remarks. So I'm going to turn it over to him to show a short video to you. So stay tuned, and I'll be back.
Hello, this is Assembly Member Eduardo Garcia, representing California's 56th Assembly District. Areas that we cover are Coachella Valley, Palo Verde, and all of Imperial County. I also chair the Water Parks and Wildlife Committee in the California State Assembly. Thank you so much to Molten Niguel Water District for the invitation to speak to you all at your water policy conference. As you all know, California is going through some very difficult challenges with the COVID-19 crisis, as well as our budgetary circumstances that are forcing us to make some very tough decisions. But I can tell you this, that we're looking at all options that we have to be able to support the investment into our infrastructure to put people back to work here in California. And so the work that you're doing there locally should tie into all of the efforts that we have underway at the state capitol. There's nothing more important than us investing into our water infrastructure, our road infrastructure, not only to enhance the quality of life for Californians, but also to put people back to work during this economic crisis. So thank you so much for the work that you're doing. And again, Eduardo Garcia, California State Assembly Member representing the 56th Assembly District. Thank you so much for the opportunity to say a few words today.
Hi, I'm Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez, and excited to try to have a discussion over this video a little bit about water. So welcome to the California Water Data Summit. I'm excited to be a part of this. I was asked to just answer a couple things, and I think I'll try to go through them to give a perspective on our relationship with folks who are working on water and what some of the challenges that we have in the legislature and the things we face. One of the questions asked me is how all of you could better supply us or inform us on water issues. And there's a couple ways I think that can be done. The first is making sure that there are ample briefings. But briefings should really happen when we're out of session. A lot of times people want us to go see something or want us to attend something while we're in session, and we're in Sacramento going between the district trying to get our bills through, and it's really hard to engage at that point. Really engaging in the fall is usually the best way to get our full attention. The other thing I'd say specifically about water is the information and data have to be digestible. I always would remind people, my background, a lot of people don't realize this, I was an attorney, and they assume I was a labor attorney. I actually was an environmental attorney, and my initial work out of law school was working with Lieutenant Governor Cruz Bustamante on his environmental issues, things like the Coastal Commission, State Lands Commission, and dealt with a lot of water issues at the time. Sometimes the data presented can be so dense and so thick that even those of us who come out of a background to understand this find it hard to digest, hard to apply to real world situations, and hard to really utilize in a way that can pass good legislation or policies, because it's just so much. So I always tell water people in particular, you live in a world where all of you understand what you're talking about, but we've got to take what you're talking about and translate that to people who have never worked in water or really never really thought about the issues. So I think that is an important thing that we can work on together to make sure that the data we receive and the information we receive is really useful. In my district, I was asked what some of the big issues are to deal with the environment and with water. And there's quite a few. As some people may know, the Tijuana River Valley has been an issue in South San Diego and along the border of Mexico for some time. The pollution that comes out of that area and what to do about it, the pollution that then ends up, of course, in our oceans, and our beaches are shut down, human waste, which is terrible. We also have a problem of tire waste. Like when it rains, tires literally come from Tijuana into the valley. That's an ongoing issue, and it's layered with international problems, or treaties, understandings, if you will, the fact that our federal government really needs to continue to step up, and trying to figure out how the state has a role in that. We're constantly trying to support what other people are doing, but it's really hard from a state perspective because it is an international issue. That's one of the major environmental water issues in my district. Another is one we've been working on for a while, and that's the fact that we still have lead, we think, in the water, basically. And it's really hard to pinpoint why it's in the water and why it's disproportionately in the water in certain census tracts in my district. And that's something we've been working at. We ran bills to try to identify our schools and how much lead was in the water in our schools. How do we remediate that? Some of our older homes still. And it's discouraging sometimes because we're told, well, maybe it's not the water, or maybe, it's the point where the water comes in and touches the piping that comes from the school or the house, or maybe it's the way it's coming through the pipes. And there's so many unanswered questions. What we do know is there's lead in some of our water and in other contaminants. And that disproportionately affects, of course, young children when they drink it, and harms our community. And so it's something we're going to continue to work on until we can identify the source and have methods to identify when there are high levels of lead in people's blood, and kids' blood in particular, and what we can do about that. That's another issue. We've also been working really on kind of the trash and pollution in our watersheds. So much of it based on plastics that are we're not recycling, we're not reusing. We have a bill this year. We'll see what happens. It's been a 2-year bill, and it's on the floor. 2 bills, SB 54 and AB 1080, that deals with really getting at single-use plastics. We know that cities and counties are dealing with how to deal with this trash that ends up in our waterways and ends up in our oceans and ends up in the fish we eat. So that's an ongoing issue, not always thought of as a water issue, but I know all of you will understand why the case about single-use plastics really does become a water issue. Finally, I was asked about public-private partnerships and how we can encourage them. And so I think this is a good question because I do think, especially in water, public-private partnerships are really important. I think when we come to a project, or if we want a public-private partnership, we have to start with a few things. One, there has to be accountability, transparency. We have to ensure that when we come together, those expectations are extremely high. And in some ways, they're looked at from a different lens than if it was just a private project or just a public project. The expectation is it will be, the oversight will be there, the accountability will be there, because if something goes wrong, it's almost worse if it's a public-private partnership. So I think we have to start with that. The other thing I'd say is being very clear. When we're doing a public-private partnership, if your goal is not to undercut basic labor protections, workers' rights, a PLA, coming in with that rather than kind of agreeing to it later makes it much easier to have a discussion about public-private partnerships, because we know this isn't about undercutting workers, and this isn't about the lowest possible bidder. This is about doing things right and doing things together and leveraging our money, leveraging our knowledge, and leveraging what we have to get done. So those are some of the things I would think about. I hope that this is a different day, a different kind of form, but hopefully that was helpful, and I hope you have a very, very successful summit.